Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 57 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on April 6th, 2021. How you folks doing? Man, I hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend. Spent some time with your families for Easter. It's a nice time to regroup, I think. Good stuff. I like Easter candy a lot. Those little Cadbury mini eggs? They're my favorite, actually. It's the ones with the solid chocolate with the candy shell. The Cadbury cream eggs, those are okay, but miss me with that. I'm talking about the solid chocolate. Ooh, man, super good. Highly recommend that. I like it. The photo that I'm posting with this podcast, it sort of has one of those something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue vibe to it. Right? Is that foreshadowing? Maybe. Or maybe it's not, because, I don't know. It's a cool picture. You'll have to find out. It's a kind of an older silencer on a newer gun there. It's interesting. I was thinking about this. When I started this podcast, I had a goal to talk about more than silencers. And it's funny how that works. Perhaps that will get sorted out eventually. It probably will. It's going to expand. But right now, silencers are the topic. Firearm silencers. And if you are new to them, you may be asking yourself, are these things even legal? Why, yes, friend, they are. And there are established entities that can walk you through the process of acquiring them. Folks like Silencer Shop, for example. I'm going to run out of ways to shoehorn this in. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop, the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers, for example. But really, as a silencer consumer, Silencer Shop is not only my dealer of choice, but my infrastructure of choice. They've done a lot of cool stuff, like create an easy system that minimizes the likelihood of errors in your paperwork. And they pioneered the use of a QR code on the actual Form 4, so the ATF can scan the code instead of inputting all your data themselves. So, for those of you listening, you might be new to silencers. Typically you got to fill out these complicated forms. You got to put, all this stuff on the forms. Well, what Silencer Shop has done is they've made it easier. So when the ATF gets your form that's filled out, you've done all that work to make sure that it's correct. Well, now all they have to do is scan it, and they don't have to worry about fat fingering it in, so-called, data entry errors or anything. Silencer Shop is kind of taking care of that for you. It's really great. It gives you that peace of mind. And it's a reason Silencer Shop has grown. They continue to innovate and do stuff like that. They got a network of dealers nationwide where silencers are legal, and you can use their kiosk services. And when you do that, like I said, you're going to cut down on errors. You simplify your silencer purchasing process. I mean, when you think about it, it's a one-stop shop. Silencer Shop is a one-stop shop where you can do everything. You can buy the silencer, buy your tax stamp, form a trust online, digitally sign the Form 4, all from the comfort of your own home. You put all your biometric and personal data, right there into their kiosk. Super simple. And then all your personal information is stored safely. It's encrypted in their systems for easy access when you need it for your forms. You don't have to hassle with the ink or the fingerprint cards or anything like that. They even have a money-back guarantee. Let's say you're not fully satisfied with your silencer after that long wait, Silencer Shop is going to do their best to make it right. That's pretty cool. So, frankly, I do wish Silencer Shop had been around when I first got into the NFA game. I've been in the game a while, and if Silencer Shop was around back then, it would have made my life easier. But it's cool. Super easy. Head to their website, search for the products you want to buy, and when you're ready to make a purchase, their online tools let you choose the dealers in your area that hold the silencer for you as you go through the wait. And if they're cool, maybe they'll even let you shoot it while you wait, which would be super fun. And so, yeah, it depends on the dealer, but a lot of them will. So there's no transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. Truly is silencer ownership simplified. It's good people. Tell you what, good people. And secondly, this podcast is also sponsored by the one, the only, PEW Science. Did you know that? I bet you did. No, but it is. PEW Science is my company, and it does sponsor this podcast. And PEW Science is greatly responsible for pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. You can visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and the most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. And all of these sound ratings that you see on pewscience.com are based on true human sound perception. Okay? The suppression rating is in section 5 of the silencer sound standard. The standard walks you through gunshot noise, sort of like Wikipedia, but let's be honest, it's cooler because it's about guns. All right, it's about sound. Silencer sound. So there are 7 parts in the standard. They're all on pewscience.com for you to read at your leisure. And if you haven't seen the standard, you might think it's kind of overwhelming. That's fine. You don't have to go ham on it yet. If you skip to section 5, it has the suppression rating in there. It's going to let you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and the shooter's ear, and it's going to give you that hearing safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which the silencers are tested. And remember, it is tied directly to human perception. If the rating is higher, it sounds better. If the rating is lower, it sounds louder. It's pretty simple. You're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world. It's exclusive to pewscience.com. PEW Science does this. It is one of a kind. Now, in section 6 of the standard, all the detailed reviews are there. You can go check them out. And again, if that's too much info, just go to the ranking section. There's a link right there on the homepage. Or if you're deep in the standard, it's section 7 of the standard. That has a simplified database tool. You can sort and view the suppression ratings of all the publicly released test data, and there's links to the individual reviews if you want to dig in more. You don't have to dig in more, but if you want to, it's there. All right. And as always, if you are a manufacturer and you would like to use PEW Science for private testing and consulting services, there is a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact information and all test data will be held in strict confidence, unless, of course, you want to release it to the public, in which case PEW Science can certainly help you with that. And we have done that before, and we will continue to as we serve our clients and the public. You can support this podcast, PEW Science, and our testing by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. And you can even give the podcast a good rating on your favorite podcast provider there and let folks know you'll like it and win the hearts and minds. You see, the more we elevate the presence of things like this, the more we can win the war on education. Through the hearts and mind and education, we can win the larger battles that increase in scope and magnitude until finally everyone has a gun in the silencer. That's the dream, right? I like to think I have a dream. I'm a dreamer. I got several dreams. Okay, yeah. Let's get right into this. 4 topics for you today. First topic, thank you for your patience. There is a new sound signature review coming this week. Biggity bam. Biggity bam. Topic 2, listener questions. Continuation of the ton from the last 3 episodes. We're going to keep that going. That's going to be a big part of this episode, I think. I want to really hit some of these. Let's get started with the 4th group of questions. I'm in it to win it this time. I'm game if you are. Topic 3, analysis update. I've been going full autistic mode. I crunched a lot of numbers. Some cool stuff coming. Just wanted to give you a quick update about that. And topic 4, welcome to all the new PEW Science members. Thank you for your support. All right, let's go. Let's get real quick statement to say here. Topic 1 at a time of 9 minutes and 34 seconds. Okay, topic 1, yeah. Thank you for your patience. New sound signature review coming this week. Man, you are not going to guess what this is, so don't even try. Some of you guess. I like it. It builds suspense and everything, but yeah. I'm not going to tell you, but hey, suffice to say, I am in the middle of some R&D and analysis, so I'm going to take a quick detour from that, and I'm going to give you something you're not going to expect. Sometimes that's good for the soul, I think. Cleansing. You got to cleanse the palate before I drop some ludicrous data on you that may or may not break the science or internet. So sit back and let it happen. Okay, just let it happen. You're powerless. No, yeah. So stay tuned for a review this week. I'll give you a hint. It's from a manufacturer you haven't seen from PEW Science before. Okay. So I'm not quite finished with the review yet. I got to jump on that. I worked a little bit on it, so I'll work on more of that probably tonight, and I have to get that out to you this week. But it is coming this week for sure. I'm gonna make that happen. Okay, just want to give you a quick update on that. All right, let's just move into this primary topic 2 at a time of 11 minutes and 4 seconds. Okay, yeah. So this is listener questions, continuation of the ton from the last 3 episodes. Let's get started with the fourth group. This is gonna be round 4, I guess. Yeah, round 4. Now, if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, there's episodes 54, 55, and 56. This is episode 57, right? Yeah. So 54, 55, and 56, I answered, I guess, in total about 46 questions of yours. There are a lot. And so without further ado, let's go back into our wondrous spreadsheet. Yeah. And we're going to see where we left off. And then, man, I love this. I'm going to get more time for it now. Last time we didn't have as much time because there's so much other stuff to talk about. But today we have some more time. So we're going to see how far we get. All right, let's see. Okay, let me go ahead and get the spreadsheet up so I can make sure to just do this right here. Align the windows on my screen. Okay, so last time we left off, okay, I gotta make this window a little bigger. All right, last time we left off, and the last question we answered was question 46. A gentleman had asked, how would you define your ideal silencer for a hunting rifle? And, I kind of went into, my personal opinions and for my use case when hunting, and some of my traits that I really enjoy are something that's light, accurate, and quiet enough. I use that term, quiet enough. So if you would like to go and check out that answer to that question, you can go ahead and go back to the previous episode. And for those of you, like I said, who haven't seen all the other, or haven't listened to all the other answers, you can go back to some even more, so a couple more episodes back and start there. So that was question 46. Okay, so we're going to go now into question 47. Let's see, which one is that? Scroll down in here. I was looking at some of these questions before I started here, just kind of looked at the spreadsheet to see what I've been aiming for. But oh man, some of these are kind of tough. So we'll see how I can do. All right, question 47. Oh yeah, this was a cool one. Can you talk about the quote unquote, you can't suppress 556, the sonic crack is too loud? Yeah, I guess people have probably heard that a lot. That's a good question. What a great question. So, yeah, I can talk about that. Let me see if I can. I'm just trying to arrange this stuff in a way that's going to be. I don't want to. Just pardon me for a moment here. There's I'm trying to make it so that I can see all the questions. So I can. I don't want to repeat myself if there's going to be one that asks, because I haven't looked at all these. Okay, I think I can see this now. So. You can't suppress 556. The sonic crack is too loud. It's well, that's a good question. Or it's an interesting statement. And, and your question actually is, can I talk about it? It's yeah, I can. But I guess to do this, I want to say the best way to explain this would be to give you some background. So let's start with the basics. So I can define define a vocabulary for you, so you can speak about this maybe more intelligently when someone asks you. for example, and maybe you can even Google some of it and learn. Okay, so it is a good question. It's a really good question. And so your interpretation of the sonic crack depends on where you are positioned relative to the barrel muzzle. First of all, okay, you need to understand that part. Now, the shock wave that is caused by the bullet traveling at supersonic velocity in air, okay, because you're in air. Let's kind of set the stage here. You're shooting a gun in air. Okay, you're not on Mars. You're on Earth. You're not underwater. You're in air. Okay, so that shock wave that's caused by the bullet traveling at supersonic velocity, that's going to expand outward behind the bullet. Actually, it's going to come from behind the bullet at the speed of sound, but in the direction determined by what's called the Mach angle. All right. So a Mach angle, it's the angle a shock wave makes with the direction of motion of the object that's causing the shock. All right. Now, you can actually calculate this angle yourself at home. If you have a calculator, a calculator with basic scientific functions, if you take the arc sine of 1 over the Mach number, okay, and okay, now so that's another term, Mach number. So okay, I'm talking about computing the Mach angle, which is the arc sine of 1 over the Mach number. All right, so a Mach number is the multiplier of the sound speed in the medium. So like a Mach number of 1 would be the speed of sound in the medium, and like 1.5 would be like 1.5 times the speed of sound in the medium. So if you're like a plane and you're going Mach 1, that means you're going at the speed of sound in the medium through which the airplane is traveling. If your airplane is traveling Mach 1.5, that means its Mach number is 1.5, so it's going 1.5 times the speed of sound in the medium. Okay, that's a Mach number. So back to back to the Mach angle. So to get the Mach angle, that angle that's coming off of the object, it would be the arc sine of 1 over the Mach number. Okay, that's the rule. That's how that works. Now, this is important to and the reason I'm going into this is important to understand because the Mach angle is the angle creating the disturbance downstream of the supersonic flow. Okay, that's what's causing this disturbance. Now, when you're in, because, and should I say, when you're in front of that angle, so there's a line coming back off the bullet, right? When you're in front of that angle, or like in front of the head of the arrow created by the projectile in the Mach wave or the shock wave, you can't hear the sonic crack. Okay? Like you can't, because the disturbance is downstream, not upstream. That's important for you to understand. Okay, so once the Mach wave passes or propagates rearward downstream of the projectile, you become subject to the disturbance. So if you want, you can draw the sound field created by the shock wave if you know the velocity of your projectile and the speed of sound in the medium. You can Google this and figure this out. This is not voodoo. This is geometry. You can do it. So again, if you need to understand, you need to understand what's happening and where it's happening. So to recap, the shockwave Mach cone is behind the bullet and is projected downrange at the speed of sound when it occurs. So you're only going to hear it as it passes. So the muzzle blast itself, that's going to propagate at the speed of sound too, but that's coming directly from the barrel muzzle. So that's a completely different thing than this Mach wave coming off of the bullet. Okay. Now, so what happens when you use a silencer? Well, your muzzle blast at the muzzle is suppressed. That's good. So what about the sonic crack? What about the Mach wave? Well, when a bullet leaves the muzzle of the gun, it's immediately creating a shock wave. Immediately, okay? The shock wave is superimposed on the muzzle blast at that time, okay? Superimposed. Now, with a silencer, The muzzle blast is contained and it's delayed within the silencer. We know this. You've seen this on pewscience.com. You understand that now. Now, as the bullet leaves the silencer end cap at supersonic velocity, it will then propagate with a shock in the air, and the Mach cone will form. It's going to happen. That Mach cone is going to start to form. And now at this time, the disturbance is, as always, behind the bullet. Now, it's going to propagate back towards you at the speed of sound. What it's going to sound like is it's going to sound like a sharp crack. And as the bullet continues down range, as long as it stays above the speed of sound, the Mach cone is going to remain. And it's going to propagate shocks at the speed of sound in the direction of the Mach angle vector. And that Mach angle is dependent upon the Mach number, which is how fast the projectile is in relation to the speed of sound. And therefore, the Mach angle is actually changing as the projectile flies downrange, okay, because the bullet's slowing down. So the Mach angle is continuously changing. It's in a continuum, really. Okay, and so that means the shock disturbance is continuously propagating rearward at the speed of sound from the projectile as it flies, and it's decaying exponentially with distance. And so your question was, or your supposition was, people say, you can't suppress 556, the sonic crack is too loud. Well, that's just simply not true. It's simply not true. The muzzle blast is suppressed, so the formation of the Mach cone in free air is delayed by the bullet having to pass through the silencer, and that is all. It's all further away from your ear at the time of cone formation. So sure, like the sonic crack down range will continue to be created behind the bullet, and it's going to propagate. But the signature to your ear, it's much less severe. The muzzle blast is suppressed. It's much less. I mean, just look at the unsuppressed muzzle blast waveforms in the silencer sound standard of subsonic 22, and you can see those are large. And that doesn't even have a Mach. That has a short pressure wave forming, and that's all explained in the silencer sound standard. And you don't even have a Mach disk. I mean, you don't even have a Mach angle being formed in front of the bullet because you're not creating a shock. And so all you're seeing is the muzzle blast, and that's severe. Okay, and so you can see that. So remember, guys, it's not the peak dB necessarily. It's the duration and the phase components that influence total loudness. Sonic cracks, I mean, they're noticeable, but the muzzle blast is extremely significant. It's an extremely significant part of the sound signature, okay? So I hope this helps with the physics and your understanding of this, but to insinuate that you can't suppress 556 because the sonic crack is too loud is ludicrous, frankly. Now, you can even, and I can do this, I probably will do this. All it would take would be for me to instrument a microphone downrange to measure. I don't know. You're probably going to get an N wave from the passing shock, and because like when you measure close to the muzzle, you're not going to get you're not going to get a good picture of the delineation between the shock wave and the muzzle blast because there's too much stuff going on, so it's going to be superimposed. Okay, so you're going to nest a lot of waveforms, frankly, and that's just not. That's probably why you're getting confused, or maybe you're not getting confused. But what I'm saying is, there's a way to show you this, and this is actually well studied in the literature. I mean, you can actually Google this, and there's plenty of papers people have written on this. Like, this isn't. I mean, forget about silencers because you don't even need. If you just want to understand what the contribution to sound signature is of sonic crack versus muzzle blast, that's been well studied. Okay, and then by default, you understand that the silencer suppresses muzzle blast. So then, I mean, bingo bango, you understand that, well, the statement you can't suppress 556 because the sonic crack is too loud is bogus. So of course you can suppress it. Okay, people that say, oh, you have to use subsonic ammunition. No, you don't. I mean, a silencer is not going to get rid of your sonic crack, but that doesn't mean you don't want to use a silencer. Come on, man. All right, so I hope that answers that question. I probably spent way too much time on that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. That's question 47. Let's see. Next one. That's a good question, so thank you for asking that. Question 48. I thought my window was big enough. Question 48. Any advantage to shooting wet versus dry? Man, absolutely, sir or ma'am. I think I talked about this in a previous episode, previous question. I did. We were talking about wet versus dry. That means like water versus air. So like water would be wet. That I know that's a dumb statement. Meaning when you shoot a silencer wet, you're using a water-based substance in it, either liquid water or like a water-based gel, or alcohol or something. And the point of this is you're creating a phase change. So you're going to be flashing the liquid to steam. That's you're changing the phase, and what you're doing is you're using an incredible amount of energy to do so. And in doing that, the combustion products are used. So it can definitely be quieter. Now, the interesting thing about it is, well, there's actually a few interesting things. Now, the first thing you need to, and I think I said this before, but you need to worry about mess. So it can be messy, particularly on a handgun. If you've ever gotten debris in your face when shooting a suppressed pistol, be aware that depending on the design, shooting that same silenced pistol setup wet, it's going to be really messy, dude. Like for real. Some aren't that messy, and some can be bad. Just wear your safety glasses, okay? You always need to be doing that when shooting, and especially when shooting suppressed. I mean, come on. Like famous last words if you're not wearing your safety glasses. Now, another thing to think about is the amount of water you add, okay? Don't go super crazy time on that. You might want to check with the manufacturer of the silencer. You need to understand you're changing the water to steam, so be aware of that. And the silencer design may dictate the threshold of safety here. If your silencer type has never been fired wet by the manufacturer on your platform of interest, you may not want to be the guinea pig. Okay, you don't want to be a science project. I don't recommend a significant amount of water in silencers unless you know it's going to be okay. That's not something to experiment with you firing the weapon if you don't understand that. Like you don't need to be doing that. Now, some silencers may perform much better wet than other silencers. Okay, this is important, and I actually have spoken with some of you about this. It really depends on the use of the water or water-based gel and the internal geometry of the silencer. All right. As your primary suppression mechanism changes, like I'm kind of trying to explain this. So you're actually changing the way you're suppressing the sound signature when you shoot something wet. Instead of slowing the gas release to the atmosphere, or controlling it and releasing it in a way that you're basically changing, instead of changing the rate and the pulse of the release, changing the flow rate and the I guess the jetting effects, which is how a silencer works. You're actually using the combustion products to perform quite a bit of work in creating steam. So you're doing something completely different. And so if the liquid water or gel in the silencer, when you're shooting it wet, if it has as much access as it needs to the combustion gases, and you can vaporize more water efficiently with a silencer design, then the silencer is going to be quieter. Okay? I mean, that's just how it's going to be. Now, there's, interestingly, I just remember this, an interesting anecdote, I guess, is that I was speaking with a gentleman, I believe he's a PEW Science member. He shoots his OSS silencers wet, his rifle silencers, and he actually has a CGS Helios QD as well. Shoots that wet on a rifle. He has. He shot them wet as a comparison, and he told me, this is his words, this is anecdotal information. He told me that the OSS silencer, while wet, was quieter. I thought that was very interesting. And I thought about why that might be. He had some theories. I had some theories. We talked about it. My theory is that I think it's due to the way that certain designs project the combustion products on the stored water. So I think it's the path of action and the sequence of continued phase conversion that could really make the difference. Does that make sense? I know what I said is really weird, but I think if you're stacking gas on top of water continuously in a path that doesn't have a lot of turbulence. Oh, no, that's a bad word. It still has turbulence. I guess if you have less flow restriction and less paths for the gas to go that doesn't have water in it, meaning you're going to hit more water with all your gas, then you're going to be able to change more gas more water. So you're going to change more water to steam. So you're going to be more efficiently using a wet silencer. So you're going to be using up more energy. So you're going to be flashing more water to steam. It's going to be quieter. I think that's why the OSS was probably quieter. Now, if you took the CGS end cap and changed it to a vented end cap, would that be just as quiet wet as the OSS? And I don't know if it would, because you still have that center section. So that's a good question. Good supposition to think about. But anyway, I don't know. So yeah, I think I spoke about wet versus dry in one of the previous episodes, but this is just some more info for you. Hope that helps. Let me scroll up. Let me see what question that was. Oh yeah, it was question 33, back when someone asked me if I had measured anything with ablative, and said no, I had not. And they talked about, well, what would happen? I said, well, this would happen. So anyway, all right, that's all. That's that. Okay, we're about half an hour in. That's pretty good. Okay, let's see. Next question. Question 49. 49. Oh, this is a weird one. It's not weird. How do you feel about politics getting mixed in with actual data? How do I feel about politics getting mixed in with actual data? Let me get a drink of water. Politics, like silencer industry politics mixed with actual data. I mean, I can tell you right now that no politics are mixed in with my data, PEW Science data. I mean, and my data is actual data. So the answer is I guess I don't have a feeling about that, because it's an impossibility. My data is pure. The analysis is real. It's detailed. It's backed by engineering experience, frankly. So I have no opinion on data politics from the PEW Science perspective, really. My data is correct, and it's the bottom line for suppressed small arm sound signature measurement and analysis worldwide, like bar none. It's the best. It's right. It's the best and most complete and most accurate. So I don't have a political opinion on that. That's just fact. Now, with regard to the rest of the industry, yeah, man, I guess that's funny. My opinion, you're asking how I feel. I feel it's predictable. I think it's played out. I think it's expected. Ever since the silencer industry has existed, and there have been people doing sound testing, quote unquote, I use that term loosely, put that in quotes. There have been politics involved with that for sure. It's because it's used as a sales tool, guys. I mean, come on, your money's tied to it, right? So corruption happens. Everything's money. At the end of the day, you got to follow the money, right? So, look, and so okay, you have that. Okay, take that and you put that in your left hand, and then your right hand, you got, people that have been reporting only partially useful data for 2 decades. And so, yeah, the propensity for politics to get involved is huge. It's a huge propensity for that. Now, let's think about that. How long have folks thought that peak dB was everything? How long? And how many people were even reporting the actual true peak dB accurately anyway? And were their test methods even verifiable and correct? So first, that's what I'm saying. How long have they thought one thing meant something? And then how long have they not even gotten that thing right anyway? Okay? And then what are their qualifications? Almost every single person measuring firearm noise in the silencer industry is not not only are they unqualified to do what they're doing, but they're doing it so spuriously, and incorrectly, that the data is even less than worthless. And so it's worse than that. It's actually worse than worthless because it's misleading. Okay, so I mean, take the folks with more advanced data acquisition systems, or at least more advanced than what has been used in the past. And what are they doing? What are they even doing? I mean, can you be sure they're set up? And even then, what are they even doing with the results? What, just giving you a peak number? What does that even do? What do they do? Are they manufacturers? What's their motivation? What's their motivation to give you all the data? What is their motivation to give you all the data that might show that their silencer isn't as quiet? Can they even do that? What if? Okay, here's a question for you. I hope I'm not going too far off the rails here, but you did ask about this politics stuff. This has everything to do with that. Here's a question. What if their silencer was louder? Because you needed to examine more than just the peaks to show that. Would the folks, would they go the extra mile to do that for you? What if a silencer manufacturer shot their silencer and a competitor's silencer side by side and thought to themselves, man, our competitor's silencer sounds just as good, if not better than ours. And then what if they were like, well, ours has a lower peak dB, so good thing that's true. So now we can publish that and say ours is quieter and we won't be lying. You think that's happened? Yes, dude. Dude, man, guys, dude, guys. Yes, of course that's happened. Are you kidding me? It still happens. Every day. Come on, man. You can make data say anything you want if you have an agenda for it. Come on, man. Let's be honest about this. So now you can see politics are going to happen. They're going to continue to happen. This is I've talked about this before. This is going to happen in stages. First, you're going to see people attack PEW Science, which is fine. It's fine. I don't care. The great thing about PEW Science is that the suppression rating, it's the suppression rating, the silencer sound standard. Anyone that wants to use the standard and is actually capable and qualified would use it. And if they aren't capable and qualified, then they won't. It's easy. It's self-policing. There's no people that have asked me, well, can you do? I'm like, no. If you're qualified, then you can do it. Don't give me that. Okay, so that's the first thing. It's easy to police. There's no riffraff here. Okay, that's fine. And then look at the suppression rating. That's easy to verify. You just shoot the silencers yourself. Anybody. Shoot them yourself. Side by side with the ammo and the test host use. Do it. And then throw stones once you do that. It's like, come on, man. It's so dumb. It's like I don't even care. That's why you asked me about politics. There's no politics with PEW Science data because it's right. All this other stuff, well, there's politics because they're playing voodoo tricks. They don't even know what they're doing. So I don't get involved with politics because there are none. PEW Science doesn't have politics. All we have is correct data. That's user verified and self-policing. Super, super easy. So throw the stones. But my glass house is intact, bro. You can throw stones all you want. So yeah. My analysis doesn't have politics in it either. It's literally objective. So every time, real data. It's all the same method. It is what it is. It's literally the same every time. There's no slant. There can't be. So yeah, that was a long answer. I mean, you asked about politics. Okay, here's my short answer. No politics are involved with actual data. Let me repeat the question. The question was, how do you feel about politics getting mixed in with actual data? Okay, my short answer, no politics are involved with actual data. If you see politics, it's from people who aren't capable of doing this. Let them talk, dude. It's more publicity and awareness for PEW Science. That's cool. And for the record, nobody has contacted me directly about any problems with the data ever. Ever. Nobody, ever. In over a year of doing this publicly, no one has ever contacted me personally about the data being incorrect? Nobody. So what does that tell you? Like, they might be saying something else somewhere, but they're not saying it to me. Well, what does that tell you? All right. If you see something, it's a random internet person, dude. Random internet people are too scared to email me or call me. So as soon as they email or call, well, then I'll know who they are. And so a genuine person wouldn't care about that. Because I'm a person, you know who I am. So what? I can't know who you are? Come on, man, get out of here with that. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Come on, man, that's internet trolling 101. That's why you don't feed the trolls. You feel me? Don't feed the trolls, fam. All right. Question 50. You like that? You like that answer? Was that in depth enough for you? Did that satisfy you? Question, man. Come on, asking me about politics. Come on, man. Question 50. How much does that prototype Helios QD Ti you have weigh? Oh, dang it. I was supposed to weigh that. I never did. Dang it. Oh, how much does it weigh compared to the Helios QD? Oh. I should have reviewed this so I could have done it ahead of time. And I promised another dude I would weigh it too. Dang it. I'm sorry. Okay, qualitatively, I know this sucks. Qualitatively, it's light, dude. Light. The steel one's heavy. Oh, I know. The other day I weighed... Okay, this is what I did do the other day. This is going to give you a peg point. The other day I weighed the Surefire SOCOM 762 RC2 with its 3-prong flash hider, and I found that package was heavier than the steel Helios with direct thread. So the steel Helios with direct thread is kind of heavy. The Surefire with the 3-prong flash hider was heavier. 762, not 556, okay? 762 Surefire with the flash hider was heavier. This titanium Helios QD is dumb light. You're going to be like, what? That's all you need to know. I mean, I know you're asking for the actual weight, and I will give that to you. I'm sorry, Eddie. Hopefully I'll remember. Let me actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let me make a note to myself right now. I'm going to highlight this in red in the spreadsheet. I'm sorry. I feel bad. I should have done my homework. Oh, I'm saving the file so I don't lose that. Okay. I highlighted that in red. So I will go back if not in social media or something, or on the website in the comments or something on the podcast, I will definitely next episode try to do that. Okay. And let me put a note here too. Helios QDTI weight. I don't know. I know so many people have asked me, and I haven't done it just because I'm like, I don't know why. I just haven't gotten around to weighing it. It's pretty light. It's light enough to be noticeable. Like when I put it on my 11.5-inch gun, it's like, oh crap! Like this is way better. Like that's one of the attractive things to me. I mean, it's the same silencer, but titanium. So theoretically, it's not as durable. But come on, man. Probably not going to break it. Excuse me. I was going to say about durability. No one knows the limit of that silencer yet. Not me, not CGS, not the face shooter guys that are using it. Like nobody. No one's broke. I don't think anyone's broken it yet that I know of that has the R&D sample titanium version of that. So anyway, how are we doing on time? 43 minutes. Okay, we're doing pretty good. All right, question 51. I wish we had a way to view normalized point of impact shift and some kind of normalized accuracy impact. On precision rifles, you quickly notice all cans are not created equal. Some cans really suck here. Same, bro. Same. I actually also wish we had that. All kinds of people want this done. You want it done. I want it done. You know what? I think a lot of people figure, hey, if you can do high fidelity sound data and analysis and develop a standard and do that analysis and completely change the game of sound characterization, surely you can do the same for accuracy testing, Jay. And the answer to that is technically, yes, I could. Technically, I could. But the test method is difficult, and the analysis is easier. But you definitely don't need my qualifications to do that. I mean, I think you need some of my qualifications, but you don't need all of them. And so it's the time factor for me. I mean, like the time and the resources to do it right are monumental, dude. Like this is not a small undertaking. And people have tried. There have been people that sent me some emails trying to do it. And Surefire does some pretty good testing at their facility for their products. It's not the best. They're definitely not the best at doing it, but it's pretty good. And it's way better than some other people. And it's way more efficient than some other people are doing it. Promise you that. So it's interesting. I mean, okay, so that sucks, and I'm sorry that answer sucks. I'm gonna drink of water 1 second. Yeah, so that answer sucks. So let's like talk about big picture and let's talk about designs. Maybe let's get something out of this question, or let's get something out of this answer for you that'll help you. Here's some things to think about. Find something with a symmetrical blast baffle. All right. Now, that's not always the hard and fast rule. It really isn't. Like, for example, the rugged rifle silencers can be pretty good in my experience. And those blast baffles are like the normal stellite cones you see a lot with a notch. So, I mean, there are exceptions, right? But a lot of silencers mess with groups, and you're going to get a shift from mass on the end of your barrel, which messes with the harmonics. We all know about that, but that should be pretty repeatable. What you don't want is a shift based on weird gas jetting or turbulence in the bore. Okay, that sucks. Now, so like the entrance and the exit geometry can play a role in this, depending on the silencer design. So like here's a recent example of that. And I started to give some of these anecdotal examples just because they might be useful to you. But I am qualifying it, and I'm saying this is not my data. This is anecdotal data. So don't take this as gospel. But the Hyperion versus the Nomad silencers, for example. Now, the Hyperion is known to be pretty accurate. Like, whereas the Nomads have been reported to have some weird dispersion sometimes, like some weird group spread. Now, that's not something I verified personally, but people have told me this. And I know the Hyperion is very symmetrical in the blast region. I know that. The Nomad is not. Whether or not that is what may cause some issues, I don't know. I really don't. But what that is an example of two silencers that people are talking about and noting accuracy issues with, right? They're saying, well, wow, my CGS stuff is like dead on. The Nomad does XYZ. And here's another manufacturer, Thunderbeast. Think about one of those, like the Ultra 9. You ever seen those blast baffles? Pretty damn symmetric, right? Pretty symmetrical. And who doesn't think those are great precision rifle silencers? Same thing with the Q stuff. The really simple cones they use, that's symmetrical. Like the blast baffle is. So it's just something to think about here, guys. Like, I'm not saying symmetrical blast baffle is 100% required for accuracy, but it can't hurt. It definitely can't hurt for accuracy. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? All right, so put that in the back of your mind. Yeah, so I hope that gives you a little bit of. I'm sorry, I don't have I mean, I guess it wasn't really a question. It was more of a sentence, and you said, "I wish," or a statement. You said, "I wish we had a way to view normalized." Yeah, I do too. And you said some cans really suck. It's like, yeah, some cans do suck, but don't forget, it could also be your mount, not on your silencer. So if you're having accuracy issues with your gun, a lot of times it's going to be because of the mount. Now, if your mount is dead nuts and your freaking barrel threading's dead nuts and everything's dead nuts, and it's just and you know it, you know it, and it is your silencer, well, that sucks. You need to contact the manufacturer. But if it's your mount or your barrel threads, your gun, well, you can chase silencer all day, but you gotta find the cause, my friend. You gotta figure that out. Question 52. Thoughts on direct thread versus a mounting system? Noticeable difference in gas and pressure? Good question, sir. Good question. Yeah, there can be some major changes, major differences, actually. Back pressure is one. or another word for that would be flow restriction is one. Sure. We have pretty frequent anecdotal reports with regard to brake versus flash hider on certain silencer designs like Surefire. Like Surefire rifle silencers, for example, they're going to vent gas to the perimeter pretty early, and a brake might occlude the orifice, or maybe not. I don't know. It's going to change the way it is so it can increase back pressure. Q cherry bombs seem to restrict gas flow when compared to some flash hiders on some third-party silencers when they use the Plan B mount. So that's been reported. I mean, is it real? Absolutely. It's real because people are noticing it. I actually take user reports pretty seriously. And that's why, I mean, and not to get off topic real quick, but that's why the suppression rating is so great, because it's tied to user perception. If anyone ever disagrees with it, I immediately latch on to what they're saying and try to understand why. And 9 times out of 10, it's because they were comparing apples to oranges. And the other time, it's like, it just doesn't happen. So I guess it'd be 10 times out of 10. It's apples to oranges. And so like, it's really important to me to trust consumers and to trust what they're telling me, because there are liars and there are people with agendas, and there's this thing called, what's that thing called when companies use marketing they use people that are fake for marketing? Is it called astroturfing? Hold on, dude. This is actually an important thing. I'm gonna Google that right now. Okay, go to the interwebs. Astroturfing, enter. Okay, this is straight like dictionary, Google search. Astroturfing, the deceptive practice of presenting an orchestrated marketing or public relations campaign in the guise of unsolicited comments from members of the public. That's a weird way of saying fake reviews from fake people, or like people that work for the companies. Okay, yeah. So I was right. AstroTurf, that's what astroturfing is. So like there's a lot of astroturfing in all kinds of like industries, right? Like people will go on social media, like especially Facebook. I hate Facebook. People go on Facebook and they'll go be like for or against something. And those people there'll either be a paid consumer, like a paid shill. I guess a shill would be another way. Like a paid consumer, or like a paid hired gun by a company. Okay. And so, in that respect, it's hard to trust what you hear online because of those people. But you can also tell when you're dealing with a genuine consumer. And I try to separate those two. And I like to think I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at understanding when someone's like a complete fabricated person, which is easy to tell because they're never going to let you know who they are. And then like I have the power of, I have PEW Science members. So I have their like names and addresses if I wanted. I mean, it's all in my encrypted database, but it's like, I know who I send emails to these guys using their real name. So like they know my real name. I know their real name. So like we're people and we're talking like as real people, just like how I would speak with them at the bar or like at the range. Like these people talk with me. Like we have a respect. So it's like the people that I rely on for anecdotal reports are like people I know. Like I might not be my brother or my friend down the street, but I certainly know their real name. And so like I'm talking to a real guy with no vested interest. So I know I just went off on a tangent. When we're talking about these mounts, and when I tell you about these experiences that some mounts can increase back pressure, have I tested it scientifically with a lot of these mounts? No, not yet. But I have had enough anecdotal reports from reliable sources that indicate that actually jive with stuff that makes sense that are telling me to make me say yes, these things are happening. And it's on my list of variables to isolate. And you know what's funny? It's not funny. It's actually really sad and frustrating. But I was wanting to do a cherry bomb study recently during a test day, and it didn't happen. And it was a bonehead problem, and it's my fault. The freaking cherry bomb I had with me, it had a burr on the threads, and so it wouldn't thread into a Plan B I had. I had brand new cherry bombs that was sitting in my gun room, and I could have brought them, and I picked them up to bring them, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to use these. I have that used cherry bomb in this silencer box right here. Let me just use this used cherry bomb in this silencer box. That's easier. That way I won't lose track of stuff. Let's just use that. But it had a ding on the thread, so it wouldn't thread into the plan B, so I couldn't use it. And I left the other ones at home. And so I was out in the field, and I was like, dang it. That really pissed me off because I was going to, but I mean, it ended up like I didn't have enough time and I lost daylight anyway. But I was probably going to be able to get one of those off. And that was going to be a really good test for everybody. And that sucks because that was an equipment failure that I didn't do my due diligence and check it before I left. I just assumed it was okay. And the reason that, who knows why that cherry bomb thread was dinged. The person I got it from might have, I don't know. I guess they just didn't take care of it. I don't know. So that is what it is. Okay. So I'm going to test the effect of the cherry bomb with third-party silencers, and you're going to get that data for sure. Okay. Like I'll do direct thread versus cherry bomb. I'll do that on some silencers. Okay. Like I promise. I mean, I literally tried already and I failed, and I just told you. So I'm going to try again. It's valuable. I think it's valuable information for the industry to understand. Suppression, I think it's interesting. Back pressure, I think, is more interesting for weapon function. Okay. Question 53. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me check the time. Okay, yeah, about an hour in. Oh, good time. Yeah. Okay, this is good. I like this. You're making good time. Question 53. Why have you not gotten into engineered water for your coffee yet? Engineered water. Oh, I know who this is. I think this guy works at a major silencer industry entity, silencer shop. I know who this is. It's Bose. It's Mike Bose asking me this. Why have I not? Because Bro, I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm busy. Engineered water. I'm assuming what that means. I don't know what this means. I'm assuming what it means is that I filter the water and probably adjust the pH for optimum coffee brew. I'm going to assume that's what he's saying. And the answer is because I haven't had time. I'm sure that if I wasn't doing PEW Science, I would be engineering the water. That makes sense. If someone wants to send me the cliff notes on that, like why or why not I should do this, like I don't have time for this. So like if you want to send me a quick and dirty, whoever is listening out there in podcast land, I would be in your debt. Question 54, moving right along. Question 54, if I bought into the OSS ecosystem, should I now throw it all away? OSS Echoes. What's the OSS ecosystem? Echo. I'm like looking on the keyboard to see what would be autocorrect to echo. Echo. Let me Google it. I'm sorry. I don't know what this means. OSS ecosystem. Oh no, I'm just getting like some Linux kernel stuff. Echo. It's because you're going to echo something when you're looking back to a programming term there. No. Something's not right. You know what I wonder? I wonder if this gentleman or lady, I bet you they meant to type flow through or flow or something, and they got echo because the F is next to the E. And then, okay, F, C is next to the F though. L is all the way over there. I don't know. H is in the middle. I don't know what to tell you. Now, I don't know what that is, but if you're talking about the OSS silencers, okay, let me restate this question to see if it can make sense. So this person says, if I bought into the OSS ecosystem, should I now throw it all away? Let's pretend they're asking, if I bought OSS silencers, should I throw them all away? My answer is no, absolutely do not throw the silencer away. That's crazy. First of all, oh my God, no, stay tuned for data, frankly. Because I've tested OSS recently. Newsflash, everybody. So stay tuned for that. You're going to lose your minds. And also, don't ever get rid of the guns and silencers. What are you doing? Don't throw it away. Never. Crazy? So yeah, so those silencers in particular, man, you're going to have to wait and see. Echo? Echo. I think perhaps you had a typo, sir, man. Hope that helps. Don't get rid of your OSS. Just stay tuned. Okay, stay tuned. Jeez. Give me a heart attack here. Question 55. Best Trilug suppressor. Oh, Trilug. Trilug is like so convenient yet so dumb. Direct thread master race, man. Trilug, like for what? Like an MP5 or something like that? I mean, you're saying best Trilug suppressor, but you didn't give me a host weapon. I'm gonna pretend you mean MP5, so your host is good. Look, man, you can put a Trilug on a lot of silencers. Check out the GSL Phoenix. Let me know what you think about that one. Send me an email, tech@pewscience.com. I'm going to assume you're going subsonic pistol rounds, sir, ma'am, which means volume is your friend, which means that you want that sweet, sweet subgun tone. So you probably want to go GSL Phoenix. You want to go Bowers. You want to go maybe like a rugged Obsidian or something. I don't know. I don't have data to give you on subgun right now for that with Trilug, so you have to stay tuned. I don't know what the best is for you. What are you shooting full auto? Is this like a real Trilug? Like reals? Like are you shooting full auto? Because my answer might be different. Okay. Is this subgun or is this like pistol caliber carbine short? Is it I'm assuming it's a carbine or a subgun with the Trilug, and you're not putting on a pistol. Okay. Question 56. What is the biggest thing holding back suppressor innovation? Suppressor? I said that weird. What is the best thing holding back silencer innovation? There's probably a lot of things holding it back. I'd say actual technical design and superior testing, coupled with, having lack of those and then having a crazy market combined. I think you're cutting yourself off at the knees, and then you're cutting yourself off at the knees and you're kicking them in the face. That's what I think is happening right now. Anything and everything is selling right now, so it's so crazy. There's really nothing stopping people from just copying curved cones. You weld them together. You slap a cool logo on a website. You get an Instagram account. You start heat treating your baffles. You throw some technical jargon online. You give them to influencers. You take cool gun pictures with them, and bam, you got the quietest, most durable, lifetime warranty-backed silencer on the market. It's a bunch of derivative, hazardous, primitive designs recycled over and over again. All right? It's like the AR market. How many companies just assemble ARs? And they said that their guns are the best duty guns. My guns are the best blasters. I make blasters for soldiers. I make blasters, duty blasters. Okay, sure you do. I can play with Legos too. Relax. It's like, come on, man. Like, relax, bro. You literally source your parts from everywhere everywhere you can. You assemble the guns. Oh, and you got some calipers and some punches. Oh, you check some tolerances here and there. Good job. Like, give me a break, dude. Like, relax with your. It's like a dude in his garage could do the same thing as like the people in the gun industry. Like with their companies, like their AR companies, like relax. So like, don't get me wrong, like I love getting guns to the most people possible. So all these AR manufacturers that are springing up and making guns, that's awesome. So just because like I laugh at it doesn't mean that I don't think it's cool. I can have multiple opinions. Like it's a spectrum, right? So it's like, I think it's awesome. I think like everyone should make a gun company and then sell guns. Like cool. Like arm the populace. I want guns in every hand. That way, like if someone steps to you, it's like, oh, well, I'm armed too. What now? What now, brown cow? It's like, or is that how now, brown? I don't know. I don't know how the saying goes. What I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is an armed society is a polite society. And I do think it's awesome that there are a lot of gun makers. I do. But the same thing that's holding the gun market back is the same thing holding the silencer market back. True innovation. Get some technical talent. Pay the salaries. Put them on projects. Lock a bunch of really good design engineers with no military background in a building for a year and see what they come up with. Why are you hiring all these military guys? Why are you doing that? Just because they're in the military, like, you think they're going to be good at making guns? Like, what is this? Like, I have no idea. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't brilliant people to come from the military. No, don't get it twisted. What I'm saying is, like, hire qualified people for the jobs. What are you doing? Like, pay the money. Like, go to top engineering colleges and be like, here, I'm going to pay. Okay, I'm going to hire, like, I don't know, pick an engineer. Pick an engineering type and be like, I'm gonna pay starting. I'm gonna pay this engineer $90,000 out of school, starting. I'm gonna put my money where I'm gonna recruit the best. Why I'm recruiting the best? Because I'm gonna give them a 401k. I'm gonna give them $90,000 out of school. And look, I don't know if that's what engineers are making out of school right now. I don't think they are. Maybe they are. Maybe if you're a chemical engineer or something. So it's like, I'm going to give them between 90K a year starting. I'm going to give them a benefits package. I'm going to give them a roadmap to, like, what they're going to be working on. I'm going to work them hard, but fair. And I'm going to see what they can do. Do that. Cut down on your marketing. Take 2 or 3 of your marketing guys, fire them, and then hire some technical designers and do something cool. Or maybe you need to hire someone more. Maybe you need to pay like, maybe you need $150K to go get a product developer. And then have him hire the engineers and have him have a product team in your company. So do that in the silencer industry. Do it in the gun industry. It works for the car companies. Why can't it work for you? They make widgets just like you do. These are widgets. I mean, it's easier for me to say I'm sitting here as a consulting engineer. It's easy for me to say stand in my ivory tower, but I've been a design engineer. I've designed stuff too. Okay, I work on all sides of this. So anyway, I've spoken about this with the heads of some silencer companies. If I had my druthers, man, I'd definitely do this. I would create a skunk works, dude. I think if I did that, I would, if it were me, if I had my way, if I had my dream, we would make the best small arm weapon systems on the planet, because we wouldn't be encumbered by restrictions. That's what needs to be done. You take the best and the brightest, even if they hate each other. You put them on teams. You give the resources to them. You give them milestones for success. The government could do this with tax money, but it just wouldn't be efficient. And there'd be too many stovepipes, and there'd be too many, to use a cliche, and there'd be too many, like, oh, well, we tried that before. No, you need people who aren't afraid of failing is what you need. And then, look, so that's what I said. I said we do it in the private sector. And look, Elon Musk can do this for space travel. PEW Science can do it for suppressed small arms. That's what I say. Just need funding. I don't know where Elon Musk got his money. Somewhere cool. This is my soapbox. I don't know. I say all this because it's something I talk about frequently with a couple of dudes in the industry. So, like, I talk about this we talk about this very frequently. So this question, your question, sir or ma'am, what is the biggest thing holding back the suppressor innovation? It's this. The thing holding back suppressor innovation is the silencer industry. Even really smart guys that say sound doesn't matter. So that's what's holding it back. Themselves. They're holding themselves back. Question 57. What's your opinion on which suppressor would have minimal first round pop on 300 blackout subsonic? What's my opinion on which suppressor would have minimal FRP on 300? Opinion? There's no opinion. It's a fact, and you'll have to wait and see. Sorry, that's not an opinion, my friend, sir or ma'am. Good question. Just I don't know. I don't know yet. Okay, when I know, you'll know. Question 58. Would it be beneficial to use a BRT Easy Tune gas tube and an adjustable gas block on a shorter barrel setup? Okay, first of all, let me define some terms here for folks. Good question, sir, ma'am. BRT Easy Tune gas tube. I'm pretty sure I'm not 100% up to speed on these. I've never used them, but what I think they are is gas tubes with a smaller orifice size. So like, picture this. You got a gun. You have an AR. You have your gas tube pinned into it. I'm sorry. You have your gas tube pinned into your gas block. You think to yourself, well, gosh, wouldn't it be nice if I could change my gas port size, and I don't have an adjustable gas block, and I don't want to take my gas block off the barrel, and I don't want to like change my gas port size by changing my barrel. What if I could just change the orifice size without an adjustable gas block? What if I could just change the orifice size using the gas tube itself by making the gas tube have a smaller hole or a bigger hole? Well, that's smart. So that's what I think that's what these Easy Tune gas tubes are. So you could like knock out the pin out of your gas block, which pins the tube into the gas block, and then you could probably shove it. I guess let me think about how that would work. I guess you could shove it aft further into the upper receiver, and then that would allow you to remove it from your gas block, and then you could pull it out of the upper receiver, and then your gas tube would be removed. I'm trying to think if you have to remove the barrel or not. I guess it depends. Whatever. You get the point, right? So you can basically change the gas tube to change the orifice size. So that's what that. And so this person is asking, would it be beneficial to use such a gas tube and an adjustable gas block on a shorter barrel setup? So maybe. I mean, if for some reason there was a permutation of gas orifice size you couldn't achieve with the adjustability of your block. Okay, here's a good reason to do this maybe. Let's say your block was only 3 clicks. It was like off, suppressed, and full, open. Like one of those switch blocks or something like Noveski ones, like back in the day. They came out with that a long time ago. Like if it was like that, maybe the smaller orifice of the BRT tube would buy you a setting in between. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? That would be better for you. But then if you had like something like a superlative arms gas block that has a huge adjustment range, I question exactly what the BRT thing would do. Do you understand what I mean? So like if you're restricting a gas tube size and your orifice size is like one of 3 sizes, that makes sense. But if you're restricting the gas tube size but you could have dialed in the port size with a bunch of different clicks on a gas block that has a bunch of settings, well then just do that and don't mess with your gas tube. So again, to recap, this question was, should you use one of those different varying size gas tubes and adjustable gas block? The answer is only if you have to. Okay. Question 59. Oh man, we're cooking. Oh, how many minutes we got? Hour 13. Man, we're cooking. I'm going to get through more. Ooh, we're not going to get through all of them today, but we're going to keep going. Question 59. Back pressure. Can that be viewed as more dwell time? Cut 6 inches off of a barrel and put a 6-inch can on? Oh, that's a good question, sir or ma'am. So he's saying, is back pressure the same as dwell time conceptually? And if I take 6 inches off of my barrel, my AR barrel, and I put a 6-inch silencer on, am I gaining the dwell time back because I still have pressure pulse going through my gas port because it isn't able to vent to atmosphere as fast because of the silencer? I mean, that is a great question. What a great analogy, sir. Bravo. The answer is not exactly. It's a good question, but no. Your line of thinking is excellent, frankly, and partially correct. All other things equal, adding a silencer does add dwell time. That is, you are spot on, sir. It does. It does add dwell length. It does add dwell time, but and therefore it adds back pressure. Or it adds back pressure. Now, the additional dwell time of a 6-inch silencer is not the same as 6 inches more barrel. It's just not. because the barrel has much more gas confinement. Okay, so it's not the same, but it is. But your thought is very good, and you're thinking correctly. You're definitely it can. So your question was back pressure. Can that be viewed as more dwell time? Yes, absolutely. It's not going to scale directly. So when you say cut 6 inches off of the barrel, put a 6-inch can on, yeah, it's going to increase your quote unquote dwell time at the gas port, but it's not going to increase it just like the barrel would. So it's not linear. And it depends on the silencer design. But your line of thinking is excellent. So good question, sir. Question 60, how soon on the Dead Air Nomad review? Very soon. Stay tuned. Thank you for your patience. Question 61, YHM silencers any good? Well, yeah, YHM silencers are excellent. Excellent silencers. YHM's been around for a very long time, and I consider that to be important in the silencer industry. Trust me. And the longer you're in the silencer industry, the longer you're going to understand that, or the more you're going to understand that's important. They are good guys. They're a family-owned business. I know those folks. They will continue to be around. I have tested some of YHM silencers, not a huge amount. I've tested some. That's going to change. I have some more coming up for testing, so stay tuned for that. YHM is good people, man. Some of their stuff is kind of primitive, but a lot of their stuff works, and working is important. That's a weird thing to say, but having something that actually works is important. Some of it's really good. Is it the best? It depends on the silencer and the application. It's not super high tech, but they have a lot of experience, and they know what works and what doesn't work. So, YHM's been around. They know what's up. So, so your question, YHM suppressors any good? Yeah, they are. I would buy with confidence, I think. I mean, they're not going to be, I think, the best in every category, but they're definitely, they definitely have some heavy hitters that are going to, give the competition a run for its money, I think, performance-wise. Definitely for the price points, too. The price point's crazy. I mean, I always say that I don't care about silencer prices because a silencer is a $200 tax stamp and a weight, so who cares how much it costs? If you can't allocate money to something you're gonna have to wait a year for, then why are you buying a silencer, bro? You probably need to save money more. You probably need to talk to your financial advisor if you're trying to save money on silencers. Frankly. Question 62. What suppressor features? Is it weird that every time I read a question I want to say silencer? I really don't like. It's weird. I'm sorry. What silencer features drive consistent point of impact shift? I think we talked about this above. It's going to be mass and gas jet. It's going to be mass and gas dynamics. It's going to be your mass is going to be repeatable. Don't worry so much about that. Your gas dynamics should be important. So try to get some symmetry in the blast baffle. Go rewind the episode if you need. I don't remember what the question was. Let me see. I'll help you out. Point of impact shift. Click. Question 51, and I think I even addressed it in a previous episode too. Okay. So that's the features. It's going to be mass and it's going to be gas jet. Question 63. Do you think the PEW scale? Okay, so this person is referring to the suppression rating scale. Do you think the PEW Science suppression rating scale is too complicated for the average silencer consumer? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, this is a question, actually, I understand where this is coming from. This is a question directly related to what people say when they don't like what the answer is. Okay, so it couldn't be more simple. The higher the number, the better it sounds to the human ear. The lower the number, the louder it is. It's the end. It's the most simple sound signature rating for small arms ever developed in the history of the world. So, the end. Good question. That's a good question to end on. That's a good question to end on. I like that. Do I think it's too No. Do you? You're asking me that. They're joking. This person, the PEW Science listeners, or Pew Science members and podcast listeners and these social media followers, because you got to remember, these questions came from Instagram. These guys have good senses of humor. We like the memes. We like the funnies. You guys got jokers. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that question with yellow to denote that was the one we left off on. And we have a few more. We have several more, actually, we're going to get to next time. This is going on and on, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoy answering the questions. Okay. All right. We're going to move into primary topic 3 at a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 10 seconds. All right. Primary topic 3, analysis update. Yeah, I crunched a lot of numbers, so there's some cool stuff coming, guys. I was going to, you know what, and this is a little embarrassing for me. I was going to go shooting this past weekend, but I made myself take a rain check. I had to push more. I crunched the crap out of some numbers, man. I did a lot of analysis, and so I have to put a lot of it together now. It's one of those, got to build my sandcastle. That's not a good analogy. No, I have to put a lot of it together, and then I have to take that huge step back, that like 10,000 foot view, and then I have to look at a lot of the stuff I did in some previous test programs and R&D programs that hasn't been published, which is a lot. There's a huge backlog. I was telling one of you the other day about how my backlog is like, it's probably a couple years, so I gotta figure this out. So I have to look at this new stuff. And it's one of my favorite parts of R&D. This is the loud. This is when I crank my loud music and I get a glass of whiskey and I pace back and forth, and I let my brain wander. And it's a process. And what I'm doing, is weird, but what I'm doing is I let myself wander, and I let myself look at things with fresh eyes, so I can be completely open to whatever comes to my mind. And one of the main objectives of Pew Science is to not fall into the status quo, even the status quo created by myself. So I have to be completely free in the way I think, and so I need to be free to be wrong and to be able to question everything I do. So I'm doing that now. I'm in the middle of that. So stay tuned. So far, it's awesome. And right now, I think I'm thinking I'm way more right than I thought I was on a lot of this. And I'm actively trying to make myself not right. And in doing that, I'm becoming more right. It's really crazy. It's cool. I'm going to see if I can break it. I'm trying to break stuff. Stress testing. That's a good analogy. So, okay. Topic 4. You're like, this guy truly is insane. It's fine. Topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 46 seconds. Welcome to all the new Pew Science members. Thank you for your support. Thank you, guys. I saw some of you join this week. It warms my heart. It's bigger than a great big bowl of applesauce, I tell you what, man. Really, really engaging conversations with a lot of you. Some via email, some via DM, some via smoke signals. Not literally. There are some diehard supporters, and I really like that. You guys are really great, and some of you just get it. You just get it. And I can tell you do, which is like, whoa, it's so dope. Some of you are in this for the love of the game, man, just like I am. I love it, and I know you want the data too, and I know, and I never forget that's really, really what you want. Okay, make no mistake. I do understand that, but some of you really have views on all this that align with mine, and I really like that. It's super cool. So thank you for that. So thank you to all of our clients, Pew Science clients. Thank you to our members, Pew Science members. Thank you to the listeners of the podcast, all of you listening now. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Silencer Shop and Pew Science. You are all making this happen. I will talk to you folks again soon. Bye.